April 25th, 2000, Toni Braxton released her third studio album, The Heat, her two-time platinum third studio album, The Heat. Correction. What's up, y'all? I'm 106 Wilson. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time, welcome back. If it's not, I'm not going to keep y'all long, Saints. We're here to talk about Toni Braxton. Let's get into it.
Don't ever doubt you'll be someone. Always go for what you want. Get up and put your purpose on. Get up, feel the sunshine on your face. Believe that you deserve it all. Put in the work and you will end up far. This is my show and tell. So tell me, are you ready to get it on? So tell me, yeah. So tell me, are you ready? So tell me, are you ready for me? So tell me, are you ready? Tell me, are you ready?
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. Please like, comment, and subscribe on this video. We're going to talk about the album that was released today, April 25th, 2000, Toni Braxton's The Heat. Toni Braxton is an American singer. She's, to me, a powerhouse, probably to a lot of people, a powerhouse. She's considered definitely a diva, one of the greats. Not like a diva like in a, she was a diva, but definitely one of the greats. One big powerful voice to me, her tone, her texture, everything about Miss Toni Braxton. From the pixie haircut, she's fine, and she can sing. Did you know that Toni Braxton's first album, she was meant to replace Anita Baker? I think a lot of people probably thought she was like an Anita Baker carbon copy, but as her album dropped and singles dropped, you can kind of tell that Toni Braxton has her own thing, but you can see how she fits in that Anita Baker category. And she did a couple of songs for the soundtrack for the movie Boomerang, which starred Eddie Murphy and Halle Berry, which was, to me, her twin at the time. Like, a lot of different times, to me, they look the same. But yes, the last time we had heard from Toni Braxton at this point was 1997's How Could an Angel Break My Heart, from her previous album Secrets, her sophomore album, which was 5 times platinum, Grammy Award winning, has chart-topping singles like You're Making Me High, which was the first single released off of this album, off of her second album. Like I thought, yes, the Grammy Award winning song Unbreak My Heart, as well as You're Making Me High at the 1996 Grammy Awards. The last single off of Secrets, How Could an Angel Break My Heart, that was the last time we had heard from Toni Braxton at that time. So come January, or between January and February, January 2000, I'm gonna say, she releases her first single off of her third album, The Heat, entitled He Wasn't Man Enough for Me. That is such a banger. I play this album a lot. I play these songs a lot. And a lot of times I'm around people that haven't heard these songs in a while, and then they're like, man, I forgot how good this song, I forgot how good this album was. Like, I got people playing some of these songs that I'll be playing. It's hilarious. He Wasn't Man Enough was the first single off of Toni Braxton's third studio album, and it peaked at number 2 on the pop charts, I believe. I'm not sure what number it peaked on the R&B charts, but it has an amazing video which features the actor, I believe that's the actor from Noah's Ark, and it also features her sister Tamar Braxton. Interesting fact about this time and era, her sister Tamar Braxton came out with her first solo album, which I don't know why she doesn't acknowledge this album. It's really a freaking great album, great songs, but it's kind of hard to choose because you have an already established Braxton, Grammy winning, coming out with her highly anticipated next album. So I guess there was no competition, but it's like they made a competition, but there wasn't really any competition because these sisters, they wasn't really competing. But I feel like the market kind of forced you to choose. But nevertheless, both albums are great. I'm going to do a video on that when I find a physical copy on it. But for The Heat, the album opens up with He Wasn't Man Enough, which was the first single on the album. He Wasn't Man Enough was produced by Rodney Jerkins. Rodney Jerkins is a very popular producer, legendary, and everybody was using Rodney Jerkins at this time. Rodney Jerkins, I feel like he pioneered a lot of R&B artists like Mary J. Blige and Aaliyah, but he really became popular from Brandy, and a lot of people just hopped on that sound, hopped on that trend after that. A lot of different groups started using him and solo artists and what have you. He produced the first single and the first opening track off of this album. It was written by LaShawn Daniels, of course, and Fred Jerkins. These are the same producers and writers from the Dark Child camp. The second song is The Heat. Now, if you ask me, I felt like the album should have opened up with The Heat, and then it should have treadled on into He Wasn't Man Enough, but this is how they organized the album. But The Heat, I really like this beat. I really like the sound. I like that's not a synthesizer, but it sounds like little, like not even a xylophone, but like one of those little instruments. But I really like the way the beat sounds. It sounds like it's a warm, sunny day on the beach. Like it's peaceful, vacation, it's fun. It's, you know what I mean, kicking your feet up. It's warm, you know what I mean? That should have been the opening track for this album. And I wish this album had more pictures. But yes, The Heat is track 2, coming after He Wasn't Man Enough. Track 3, Spanish Guitar, which is the third single off of this album, but it is the third track on this album. Spanish Guitar was written by Diane Warren, who previously written hits for many greats like Whitney Houston, Brandy, many people, and of course Toni Braxton. She penned the Unbreak My Heart Grammy Award winning chart-topping hit. So of course I feel like it made sense to call her back to do it again, because a lot of people felt like Spanish Guitar sounded exactly like Unbreak My Heart, which is why the single did better overseas than it did in the US. But that's neither here nor there, because the song fits so much. It fits perfectly in her catalog, and it fits perfectly on her album, especially the follow-up to the album that had that massive hit, right? Track number 4 is actually the second single off of this album. This album generated 3 singles, really 2 in the US, because after He Wasn't Man Enough, all I remember us hearing is Just Be a Man About It, which is written by Toni Braxton, Teddy Bishop, Brian Michael Cox, and Jonta Austin. Just Be a Man About It features Dr. Dre. I'm surprised the beat wasn't produced by him. I don't know why I thought it was, but it was actually produced by Teddy Bishop. And the song peaked at number 6 on the R&B and hip hop charts. It was a pretty decent single, and it has a video that goes with it, of course, that features Dr. Dre and the rapper Q-Tip, which is pretty amazing if you're a hip hop fan. If you love NWA or A Tribe Called Quest, it's just you just gotta love it. Coming in at track 5, you have Gimme Some. I really love this song because it features Lisa Left Eye Lopez. That's my girl. Rest in heaven, rest in love. She ain't got no business not being here physically. It don't make no sense, but her rapping skills, the way she thought, just Left Eye just didn't get enough love, and that solo album should have been released. I believe they were label mates, or kind of like neighbor mates or whatever, because LaFace and Arista. But TLC was signed to LaFace, yes, and Toni it was as well. And then Toni eventually went to Arista, I believe, at one point, if I'm not mistaken. But then got out of that. But yes, they were both signed to the same label at one point, LaFace, both of them. And so it just made sense for LaFace to easily be able to snag on Left Eye, which was is still a part of the biggest girl group ever. But at the time, this is the top of 2000, so fan mail was still buzzing like crazy. I believe Unpretty was probably still the biggest single at the time, so it made sense for a album released between January and April of 2000. Fan mail was still kind of fresh. I really like how offbeat this track is. Jazzy Faye produced this track, of course. That's probably why that beat sounds very unique. Jazzy Fizzle, Jazzy Faye, y'all gotta show Jazzy Faye some love. He really came up, and he was a part of a lot of stuff that we don't realize he was a part of, because like the time that he blew up. But yeah, this song was written by Babyface, and of course Lisa wrote her own raps. Come on now. Toni Braxton had a hand in writing these songs. What I like is Toni Braxton has a hand in writing most of the songs on this album, like The Heat, like Just Be a Man About It, like Gimme, Speaking in Tongues, The Art of Love. There's many songs in here that Toni Braxton had a hand in writing in. Coming in at track number 6, I'm Still Breathing. I like how a lot of these tracks are very consistent with the Toni Braxton sound. Like if you were putting in an extended version of this album, a lot of the production sounds very like, okay, yeah, this is a Toni Braxton record. I feel like the Toni Braxton sound really didn't come in until her second album, Secrets. Her first album was more so coming off of what was the sound that was popular at that time. And low-key, it was coming off of like Anita-esque, just some of the songs, not really a lot of them, because Anita had more of a Quiet Storm feel, but a lot of the more upbeat songs on Toni's first album, you can hear how it really goes with the timing and what was popular at that time. But the sound, I felt like they and Toni hadn't really found her sound production-wise, and what the sweetest spots that they wanted to stick to vocally for her. I feel like they established that with Secrets, and that's why a lot of these songs on The Heat sounds like it could have made it on Secrets as well, or you know what I mean, like Spanish Guitar, like I'm Still Breathing. I'm still breathing. I'm still breathing. See, and that's what it is. The reason why it sounds like that, it's another Diane Warren song. She has 2 Diane Warren pen tracks on this album, I'm Still Breathing and Spanish Guitar, which makes sense. So even if she just kept one or the other, there's people still would have been like, oh, this sounds just like that song, but you know, it makes sense for a Toni Braxton album, right? I really like the theme of a lot of these songs on like her love songs. Like Spanish Guitar is more so like a fantasy. And I'm Still Breathing is more so like triumphing through the challenges of love. I really like that. After I'm Still Breathing, you have track number 7, Fairy Tales. Fairy Tales was written by Mark Harris, Tommy Sims, and Babyface. I really like the chemistry between Babyface and Toni Braxton, even though he was with her from the very beginning. The songs that he did on her second album and the songs that he even did on this album, they don't sound like the first album. So it's like Babyface grew with Toni Braxton. This is why they call them like the perfect, like they're like musical husband and wife, because they just go together. I really like the guitar in Fairy Tale, and I really like the harmonies in Fairy Tale. It's just, that's another thing that I really enjoy. Background vocals by Toni Braxton and Babyface. So that's what's killing these backgrounds on the Fairy Tale song. After Fairy Tale, track number 8, you have The Art of Love. I really like The Art of Love because it's like one of those vibey type sensual songs, and it's produced by Carrie Lewis and Toni Braxton, which was of course Toni Braxton's husband at the time. You can just hear the chemistry between them two in the music that they created, which I think is absolutely beautiful. After The Art of Love, you have track number 9, Speaking in Tongues. Like I said, another track written by Toni Braxton. I feel like Toni Braxton is far from the Toni Braxton that I feel like her audience met on her first album, so she can make more sensual, more grown-up songs like this. You know, her first album, she was talking about how she had to confront a guy that she found out was sleeping with her best friend, and now she's talking about the art of love and speaking in tongues like that. Like you can hear and see the growth in Toni Braxton's work. Toni Braxton was also featured in this magazine where they talk about Toni Braxton's life at this time, what's going on with her contract, what's going on with her marriage, because she had just gotten married. Of course, they asked about the bankruptcy or that. But yes, in this article, it's like a brief little mention of Toni Braxton, as you can see right here. It's pretty dope. It says, in 2001, singer Toni Braxton made one of the biggest comebacks in show business history, bouncing back from bankruptcy with a platinum record and a $20 million recording contract and a fairy tale wedding in a Georgia wonderland. So what is she going to do for an encore? She's expecting to wrap a very special Christmas gift, because this is around November 2001 when they released that article and when this all had come out. She's expecting to wrap a very special Christmas gift and bouncing a baby boy. Along with this very productive year, Braxton also made her film debut in Kingdom Come. She also starred in a movie during this the Heat era. The Heat era did produce Outer Adventures for her. She did do Outer Adventures during the Secrets era, because in 1998, in early 1999, she played Belle on the Beauty and the Beast Broadway, which made her the first Black Beauty and the Beast. So that was like the first time she did acting on Broadway. But The Heat produced some acting ventures for her as well for the comedy Kingdom Come, which I thought was hilarious. Kingdom Come, which was being advertised for a DVD release at the time. You can see Toni Braxton out there in the back. I thought she was gonna have a much bigger role in the movie. But yes, you can. That article talks about what's going on in her life with her marriage, the new baby on the way, the new movie that she did. She was really doing her thing at this time still, showing her that she did indeed not go anywhere and that a comeback was nothing. Again, I wish they just used more pictures in here. But the song After Speaking in Tongues is Maybe, which is one of my favorite songs off of this album. I just like the way she's singing the song. I like the beat, and I like the falsetto that she does at the end. I love the harmonies during the bridge of Maybe. If you haven't heard Maybe by Toni Braxton, check it out. Track after Maybe is You've Been Wrong, is another one of those songs I love because of the beat and the harmonies in the song. Who's singing harmonies on this record? Background vocals by Toni Braxton, Tamar Braxton, Trina, and Tawanda. So the Braxton sisters themselves, everybody but Tracy. But that's all right. I love the You've Been Wrong resung elements. They used the Stop, Look, and Listen, written by Don Bell and Linda Creed. I like how they reached in their throwback book to use that little part of the song. And then Tamar Braxton appears courtesy of DreamWorks Records. I told y'all I say that in the album because at the time she was signed to DreamWorks and she had her album of her own, so they had to disclose that. Another artist from another label on the album. I love that. You've Been Wrong. I love that all her sisters are singing backgrounds on that song, and their vocals just sound so good together. The final track on that album is Never Just for a Ring. It's just one of those songs that you just feel like it just ended too soon. This song was written by Daryl Simmons, Toni Braxton's in Pure Soul. She's just confronting her lover. Maybe that's why she told him he wasn't man enough and ended up leaving him. Maybe that's the story that she's telling. But that is The Heat. The Heat wound up going 2 times platinum, even though the album before that, Secrets, was 5 times platinum. Hey, if you can go over 1 million records, you know what I mean? Hey, you've done it, you know what I mean? Because people expect you to do the same exact thing every single time, and people just don't realize that these people are working off of album budgets and so haves and what's and all of that. But for what Toni Braxton had to work with, I'd say she did what she had to do, and everything really turned out well because all 3 of her first albums are solid. Even the albums after these albums are great. I just feel like they don't do R&B acts right sometimes. They force them to be adult contemporary, age them, which is what they did to Toni Braxton, but she still survived it all and still won a Grammy even after her said peak. That is real diva-ness right there. Look, I really thank y'all for watching this video with me. Y'all let me know what's your favorite Toni Braxton album, what's your favorite Toni Braxton song off of The Heat, and let me know if you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know if there's an artist or an album you'd like me to do. Look, I gotta go. I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.